Where Eagles Dare 1968 is a legendary World War II action film that continues to captivate audiences decades later. In this video, we take a nostalgic look back at the iconic cast led by Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton, revealing how they appeared at the height of their fame and how time has changed them. Discover fascinating transformations, career paths, and intriguing behind-the-scenes stories from this unforgettable classic. Clint Eastwood, born on May 31st in 1930 in San Francisco, California, brought his signature icy cool and lethal efficiency to the role of Lieutenant Morris Schaffer in the classic war adventure Where Eagles Dare 1968, starring in the film when he was 38 years old. As the sole American in a British commando unit, Schaffer initially appears to be just the muscle for the operation, wielding dual MP-40 submachine guns to mow down waves of German soldiers in the corridors of the Schloss Adler. However, his character proves to be the reliable anchor amidst a sea of British deception, famously quipping about the confusion of the mission's shifting objectives. Eastwood's physicality dominates the action sequences, particularly the harrowing escape via a cable car roof and the explosive bus ride down the mountain, solidifying his transition from Western icon to modern action hero. The role allowed him to display a dry wit and a ruthless competence that would become hallmarks of his career. In real life, Eastwood rose to fame as Rowdy Yates in the TV series Rawhide, before redefining the Western genre as the man with no name in Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy. He later evolved into a critically acclaimed director, winning Academy Awards for Best Picture and Best Director for both Unforgiven 1992 and $1 Million Baby 2004. A dedicated jazz aficionado and pianist, he also served a term as the nonpartisan mayor of his adopted hometown, focusing on environmental preservation. Clint Eastwood is currently 95 years old and continues to be active in the film industry, residing in his longtime sanctuary of Carmel by the Sea, California, where he remains a living legend of Hollywood history. Richard Burton, born Richard Walter Jenkins on November 10, 1925 in the smoky coal mining village of Pontrhydyff in Wales, commanded the screen with his resonant baritone voice as Major John Smith in the World War II espionage thriller Where Eagles Dare 1968, starring in the film when he was 42 years old. In this labyrinthine tale of double crosses and high-altitude danger, Smith leads a daring commando team of British operatives and one American ranger into the Bavarian Alps to infiltrate the Schloss Adler, an imposing fortress accessible only by cable car. Ostensibly, the mission is to rescue a captured American general, but Smith harbors a secret agenda identifying Nazi spies embedded within British intelligence. Burton's performance is a masterclass in stoic intensity, particularly during the high-stakes interrogation scene in the castle's Golden Hall, where he brilliantly plays both sides against the middle to expose the traitors. The film culminates in a chaotic, explosion-filled escape, involving a cable car fight that remains a genre staple ending, with Smith unmasking the final traitor aboard the rescue plane. In real life, Burton was the 12th of 13 children, born to a coal miner, later taking the surname of his schoolmaster and mentor, Philip Burton, who helped him refine his voice and gain entry to Oxford. A titan of the stage and screen, he gained infamy for his turbulent, twice-married relationship with Elizabeth Taylor, which began on the set of Cleopatra 1963. Despite 7 Academy Award nominations for films like The Spy, Who Came In From the Cold, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, he never won. Richard Burton passed away from a cerebral hemorrhage on August 5, 1984, at the age of 58, and was laid to rest in the Vieux Cemetery in Celigny, Switzerland, just a few miles from the home he shared with his final wife. Mary Ure, born Eileen Mary Ure on February 18, 1933 in Glasgow, Scotland, brought a sharp intelligence and icy resolve to the role of Mary Ellison in the high-octane war thriller Where Eagles Dare 1968, starring in the film when she was 35 years old. As the covert MI6 agent inserted into the mission separately from the main commando unit, her character is pivotal to the operation's success, acting as the team's inside woman. Posing as a domestic servant within the formidable Schloss Adler, she navigates the corridors of the Nazi fortress, with nerves of steel providing crucial intelligence and weapons to Richard Burton's Major Smith. Her performance is understated yet vital, particularly in the tense sequence where she must distract German guards and assist in the high-wire rescue of the captured American general. She proves herself equal to her male counterparts during the chaotic escape wielding a submachine gun from the back of the escape bus as it careens down the snowy Bavarian mountainside. In real life, Ure was a highly respected stage actress who gained prominence as the original Alison Porter in John Osborne's revolutionary play, Look Back in Anger 1956, a role she reprised in the 1959 film adaptation. She also earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her poignant portrayal of Clara Dawes in Sons and Lovers 1960. Her personal life was often intertwined with the arts. She was married to playwright John Osborne and later to actor Robert Shaw, with whom she had 4 children. Tragically, her career and life were cut short just hours after opening in a new stage production called The Exorcism. Mary Ure passed away on April 3, 1975 at the age of 42 due to an accidental overdose of alcohol and barbiturates, and she was laid to rest at St. Mary Magdalene Churchyard in Paddington, London. Michael Hordern, born on October 3, 1911 in Berkhamsted, Hertfordshire, lent his distinguished authority and gravelly voice to the role of Vice Admiral Roland in the World War II espionage classic Where Eagles Dare 1968, starring in the film when he was 57 years old. As the enigmatic head of MI6 operations, Roland is the puppet master behind the film's labyrinthine plot, orchestrating the deadly mission from the safety of a dimly lit London office and later from a radio room at a nearby airfield. While Burton and Eastwood dodge bullets in the Bavarian Alps, Hordern's character provides the narrative anchor, delivering the crucial briefings that set the team in motion. His performance is a study in calculated ambiguity. He is the only character aside from Major Smith who knows the true objective is not merely to rescue an American general, but to expose a network of Nazi spies infiltrating British intelligence. The tension of the final act relies heavily on his radio communications as he anxiously awaits the extraction signal, broadsword calling Danny Boy to authorize the rescue plane's landing. In real life, Hordern was a knighted actor, celebrated for his eccentric and often befuddled characters, though he was equally capable of Shakespearean gravity, playing King Lear to great acclaim. He gained immortality among younger generations as the gentle, reassuring narrator of the Paddington Bear television series 1976-1980. A passionate fly fisherman, he often claimed he would rather be fishing than acting. Michael Hordern passed away from kidney disease on May 2, 1995, at the age of 83. His remains were cremated, and in accordance with his love for the English countryside, his ashes were scattered in the garden of his home in Berkshire. Patrick Wymark, born Patrick Carl Cheeseman on July 11, 1926, in Cleethorpes, Lincolnshire, delivered a memorable performance of duplicitous authority as Colonel Turner in the classic espionage film Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 42 years old. As the commanding officer who briefs Major Smith and Lieutenant Schaffer at the beginning of the mission, Turner initially projects the stiff upper lip reliability of British intelligence. However, the film's intricate plot eventually reveals him to be a high-ranking German double agent. The climax of his character arc occurs in the film's famous finale aboard the rescue plane. In a tense confrontation, Major Smith exposes Turner's treachery by revealing a notebook containing the names of Nazi spies in Britain. Realizing he has been outmaneuvered and facing a court-martial that would scandalize the intelligence community, Turner chooses a soldier's death at Smith's suggestion, jumping from the plane to his doom without a parachute. In real life, Wymark was a distinguished member of the Royal Shakespeare Company, but became a household name in Britain, playing the ruthless businessman John Wilder in the TV drama The Power Game. His heavy-set frame and booming voice also served him well in historical roles, such as the menacing Oliver Cromwell in the horror film Witchfinder General 1968. Sadly, his intense workload and heavy drinking took a toll on his health. While in Melbourne, Australia, preparing to star in a production of Sleuth, Patrick Wymark passed away suddenly from a heart attack on October 20th, 1970 at the age of 44, just 3 days before he was due to open the play. His body was returned to England, where he was laid to rest at Highgate Cemetery in London. Donald Houston, born on November 6, 1923 in the coal mining town of Tonypanny, Wales, delivered a memorable performance as Captain Christensen in the action-packed war thriller Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 44 years old. Cast as a member of the elite commando unit sent to infiltrate the Schloss Adler, Christensen initially appears to be a loyal British officer dedicated to the rescue mission. However, in the film's celebrated twist in the Golden Hall, he is unmasked by Richard Burton's Major Smith as one of 3 German double agents who have been sabotaging the operation from the inside. Huston expertly portrays the character's shift from stoic commando to desperate traitor as the tables turn. His character meets a spectacular and brutal end during the film's most iconic action sequence, a high-altitude fight atop a moving cable car. After a desperate hand-to-hand struggle on the snowy roof of the gondola, Christensen is knocked off by Smith, plummeting thousands of feet to his death in the valley below. In real life, Huston found early stardom as the romantic lead opposite Gene Simmons in The Blue Lagoon 1949, a role that established him as a handsome leading man. He later transitioned into character acting, delivering a notable performance as Dr. Watson to John Neville's Sherlock Holmes in A Study in Terror 1965, and appearing in the aviation war film 633 Squadron 1964. He was also the brother of fellow actor Glenn Huston. After retiring from the screen, he moved to the warmer climate of the Iberian Peninsula. Donald Huston passed away on October 13, 1991, at the age of 67, and was laid to rest in Portugal, his final adopted home. William Squire, born on April 29, 1917 in Neath Glamorgan, Wales, utilized his commanding stage presence to portray the treacherous Captain Thomas in the World War II action epic Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 51 years old. A member of the elite 7-man team paratrooping into the Bavarian Alps, Thomas is revealed to be part of the triumvirate of double agents sabotaging the mission from within. Squire delivers a performance of steely deception, particularly in the pivotal interrogation scene within the Schloss Adler, where he attempts to maintain his cover against Major Smith's psychological warfare. The tension culminates in the iconic cable car fight sequence. Along with his co-conspirators, Thomas attempts to ambush the escaping heroes on the roof of the descending gondola. In the ensuing struggle amidst the freezing winds and dizzying heights, he meets a grisly fate, plummeting to his death into the snowy abyss below, a moment that remains one of the film's most memorable stunts. In real life, Squire was a distinguished stage actor with a deep, resonant voice that served him well in Shakespearean roles at the Old Vic. He gained cult status as the 4th actor to play the ruthless spymaster Hunter in the gritty espionage series Callan 1967-1972, providing the cold, bureaucratic foil to Edward Woodward's protagonist. Fantasy fans also revere him for providing the voice of the wizard Gandalf in Ralph Bakshi's animated adaptation of The Lord of the Rings 1978, where his vocal gravity brought the character to life for a generation. A stalwart of British theater and television, William Squire passed away on May 3, 1989, at the age of 72. He died in London, and while his specific final resting place remains private, his contributions to the golden age of British drama endure. Peter Barkworth, born on January 14, 1929 in Margate, Kent, brought a refined nervousness and calculated duplicity to the role of Captain Berkeley in the classic wartime thriller Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 39 years old. As one of the hand-picked commando officers sent to rescue an American general from the impenetrable Schloss, Adler Berkeley initially projects the image of a dedicated British soldier. However, beneath his polished exterior lies a traitor working for the Nazis. His character is central to the film's most suspenseful sequence in the castle's Golden Hall, where Richard Burton's Major Smith methodically unravels the conspiracy. Barkworth captures Berkeley's growing panic as the ruse falls apart, shifting from arrogant confidence to sweaty desperation as he realizes his cover is blown. His treachery comes to a violent end during the film's climactic escape. Attempting to flee the castle via the cable car, he is engaged in a fierce firefight by Clint Eastwood's Lieutenant Schaffer and is ultimately killed, his body left behind, as the heroes make their getaway. In real life, Barkworth was a titan of British television and a revered acting instructor. He became a household name in the late 1970s as the title character in the hit drama Telford's Change, playing a high-powered international banker who yearns for a simpler life, a role that resonated deeply with British audiences. He also starred as the ambitious Kenneth Bligh in the corporate drama The Power Game. Beyond performing, he was a legendary tutor at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art RADA, where he mentored future stars like Anthony Hopkins, and he authored several definitive textbooks on acting technique. Peter Barkworth passed away from bronchopneumonia following a stroke on October 21, 2006, at the age of 77. His remains were cremated at Golders Green Crematorium in London, leaving behind a legacy as the actor's actor. Robert Beatty, born on October 19, 1909, in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, delivered a crucial performance rooted in deception as General George Carnaby in the World War II espionage classic Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 59 years old. While initially introduced as the U.S. Army General and Chief Coordinator of the Second Front invasion plans, who has been captured by the Nazis, Beatty's character is the central MacGuffin of the film's first half. However, the plot's brilliant twist reveals that he is actually Corporal Cartwright Jones, an American actor and look-alike hired by British intelligence to impersonate the general. His mission is to be captured and withstand interrogation to flush out German spies within MI6. Beatty expertly navigates the tension of the Golden Hall sequence in the Schloss Adler, where he must maintain his charade while being psychologically dismantled by the Gestapo and SS officers. He portrays Jones's terrified resilience as he is forced to witness the apparent betrayal of his rescuers, playing the bewildered victim perfectly until the chaotic turning point where Richard Burton's Major Smith hands him a weapon, allowing the actor to become a soldier and aid in the team's explosive escape. In real life, Beatty was a versatile character actor who found success in Britain, often playing the token North American in war films and dramas. His distinctive voice earned him the role of the President of the United States in Superman the Conductor, 1980, and later as Nancy's father in Superman III, 1983. Science fiction fans also recognize him from 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968, where he played Dr. Halstead, the scientist who briefs Heywood Floyd on the cover story for the monolith's discovery. Robert Beatty passed away on March 3, 1992, at the age of 82, and his remains were cremated at Putney Vale Crematorium in London. Vincent Ball, born on December 4, 1923, in Wee Waa, New South Wales, Australia, portrayed Wing Commander Carpenter in the action-packed war film Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 45 years old. A Royal Air Force officer of Steely Nerve Carpenter is the unsung hero of the operation, responsible for both the initial insertion and the final extraction of the commando unit. In the film's white-knuckle climax, he pilots a disguised Junkers Ju-52 transport plane, landing it on a frozen airfield under heavy enemy fire. With the engines roaring and the Nazis closing in, Carpenter waits until the very last second for the battered team, bolstered by Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood, to drive their escape bus alongside the taxiing aircraft. His calm handling of the plane during the chaotic takeoff, while bullets riddle the fuselage, provides the team their only path to freedom. In real life, Ball's own background mirrored his character's bravery. He served as a wireless air gunner and pilot with the RADA-trained Royal Air Force during World War II. A stalwart of both British and Australian screens, he starred as the romantic lead Ben in A Town Like Alice, 1956, and appeared in the cult classic The Prisoner. Later in his career, he became a beloved figure in Australian television with roles in A Country Practice, and as the father of the groom in the hit film Muriel's Wedding, 1994. He was awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia OAM for his services to the performing arts. Vincent Ball is currently 102 years old, residing in New South Wales, Australia, where he enjoys a quiet retirement as one of the last surviving cast members of the film's golden era. Neil McCarthy, born on July 26, 1932 in Lincoln, Lincolnshire, used his imposing physical presence to portray Sergeant Jock McPherson in the high-stakes war thriller Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 36 years old. As the team's radio operator and heavy weapons expert, McPherson is a man of few words, but immense capability, parachuting into the Bavarian Alps to assist in the infiltration of the Schloss Adler. His character serves a grim narrative function. He is the first definitive casualty of the traitor within the group. After the team lands and secures their gear in a remote barn, McPherson is separated and brutally murdered, his neck broken by one of his own supposed comrades. His body found frozen in the snow by Major Smith becomes the chilling catalyst that confirms the mission is compromised from the inside, ratcheting up the paranoia for the remaining survivors. McCarthy's rugged features, a result of acromegaly, gave him a unique and menacing look that directors frequently utilized. In real life, despite his formidable appearance, he was a gentleman, a talented linguist, and a skilled pianist. He delivered a heartbreaking performance as the animal-loving Private Thomas in the epic Zulu 1964 and terrified a generation of children as the stop-motion villain Calabos in Ray Harryhausen's Clash of the Titans, 1981. His condition eventually contributed to his deteriorating health. Neil McCarthy passed away from motor neurone disease on February 6, 1985, at the age of 52, cutting short a career defined by memorable character roles. He was laid to rest in Fordingbridge Cemetery in Hampshire, leaving behind a legacy as one of British cinema's most recognizable faces. Anton Diffring, born Anton Diffring, on October 20th, 1916 in Koblenz, Germany, brought a chilling sophistication and aristocratic menace to the role of Colonel Paul Kramer in the World War II action classic Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 52 years old. As the head of the SS contingent within the imposing Schloss Adler, Kramer serves as the primary intellectual adversary to Richard Burton's Major Smith. His character is defined by a cool, predatory intellect, most visibly displayed in the high-tension interrogation scenes within the castle's Golden Hall. Kramer believes he has the upper hand, orchestrating the dismantling of the British team's cover story, only to be drawn into Smith's complex web of double crosses. Diffring masters the role of the arrogant technocrat, particularly in the moment he is forced by Smith to pick up the phone and verify the identity of the traitors, a hesitation that signals the shift in power. His demise is swift and violent. In the chaotic shootout that erupts when Major von Hoppen interrupts the proceedings, Kramer is gunned down by Smith and Schaffer, ending his reign of terror on the carpet of his own headquarters. In real life, there was a profound irony to Diffring's career. He fled Nazi Germany in 1939 to escape persecution due to his Jewish heritage, yet his blonde hair, chiseled features, and icy blue eyes made him Hollywood's go-to actor for Nazi officers. Beyond war films, he gained a cult following for his role as the plastic surgeon Dr. Schuler in the horror film Circus of Horrors 1960, and as Fabian in François Truffaut's dystopian sci-fi Fahrenheit 451 1966. He worked steadily in European cinema until his health declined. Anton Diffring passed away on May 19, 1989, at the age of 72 at his home in Châteauneuf-Grasse, France, and was laid to rest at St. Andrew's Churchyard in Whitecombe, Essex, England. Derren Nesbitt, born on June 19, 1935 in London, England, stole every scene he appeared in as the menacing Gestapo officer Major von Hoppen in the war movie blockbuster Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 33 years old. With his bleached blonde hair, black leather trench coat, and piercing gaze, von Hoppen is the film's wild card, a suspicious and ruthless hunter who does not buy into the happy family facade presented by the infiltrators. His memorable introduction in the village cafe, where he silently unnerves Merrieux's character with a calculated stare, sets the tone for his predatory nature. He is the only antagonist who sees through the layers of deception, ultimately crashing the confrontation in the Golden Hall. His entrance gun drawn brings the film's tension to its boiling point as he catches the heroes and the traitors off guard. However, his distraction by the beautiful Mary Ellison proves to be his undoing. In a split second of lost focus, he is shot dead by a hidden gun, his death triggering the explosive finale. In real life, Nesbitt's distinctively intense look made him a favorite for villainous roles in the 1960s and 70s. He became a familiar face on British television, playing the hard-edged Detective Chief Inspector Jordan in the grit-heavy police drama Special Branch and the manipulative Number 2 in the cult classic series The Prisoner. Unlike many of his contemporaries who retired, he has remained active in the industry, continuing to act in films well into the 21st century. Derren Nesbitt is currently 90 years old and resides in the seaside town of Worthing, West Sussex, where he is celebrated as a living legend of the British screen. Ferdy Mayne, born Ferdinand Philipp Meyer Horkel on March 11, 1916 in Mainz, Germany, projected an air of formidable authority as General Rosemeyer in the espionage thriller Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when he was 52 years old. As the commanding officer of the Wehrmacht forces at the Schloss Adler, Rosemeyer represents the blunt instrument of the Nazi war machine, contrasting with the more subtle machinations of the SS and Gestapo. His presence in the Golden Hall adds a layer of high-stakes pressure to the film's central confrontation. He is the figure of absolute military power who demands the interrogation of the captured American general, unaware that he is being played by a team of infiltrators. Mayne captures the general's growing confusion and rage as Major Smith spins his fabrication about a plot against Hitler, a ruse that momentarily paralyzes the German command. Like his counterpart, Colonel Kramer, Rosemeyer meets a fatal end during the film's pivotal standoff. When the deception collapses into gunfire, he is shot dead by Clint Eastwood's Lieutenant Schaffer, crumbling amidst the grand furniture of the castle. In real life, Mayne was a versatile character actor who, like Diffring, had fled Nazi Germany in the 1930s to find sanctuary in Britain. He enjoyed a prolific career that spanned genres, achieving immortality among horror fans as the sophisticated vampire Count von Krolock in Roman Polanski's The Fearless Vampire Killers, 1967. He also brought a memorable dignity to the role of the Chevalier in Stanley Kubrick's visual masterpiece Barry Lyndon, 1975. He continued acting well into his later years, even appearing in the sequel, Conan the Destroyer, 1984. Ferdy Mayne passed away from Parkinson's disease on January 30th, 1998, at the age of 81 in London, England. Ingrid Pitt, born Ingushka Petrov on November 21, 1937 in Warsaw, Poland, radiated charisma, beauty, and unexpected lethality as Heidi in the adrenaline-fueled war classic Where Eagles Dare, 1968, starring in the film when she was 31 years old. Posing as a busty, unassuming barmaid at the Zum Wilden Hirsch Tavern in the village of Werfen, beneath the Schloss Adler, Heidi serves as the critical ground contact for Mary Ehr's character, Mary Ellison. She is the linchpin of the local resistance network, providing shelter, disguise, and vital information to the infiltrating team while maintaining her cover under the noses of the Gestapo. Her character's most pivotal contribution comes during the explosive escape sequence. She abandons her disguise to join the commandos on the getaway bus, wielding a Schmeisser machine gun with surprising ferocity to fend off pursuing German vehicles as they careen down the icy mountain roads. Her presence adds a layer of glamour and grit to the mission, proving that the female operatives were just as lethal as their male counterparts. In real life, Pitt's backstory was far more harrowing than any film script. As a child, she survived imprisonment in the Stutthof concentration camp during the Holocaust, a trauma that fueled her resilience. She later defected from East Berlin to the West by swimming across the freezing River Spree. She became an absolute icon of the horror genre, earning the title Queen of Hammer Horror for her seductive performances in cult hits like The Vampire Lovers, 1970, and Countess Dracula, 1971. A prolific writer, she authored her autobiography, Life's a Scream. Ingrid Pitt passed away from heart failure on November 23, 2010 at the age of 73 and was laid to rest at Richmond Cemetery in London. Who's your favorite character from Where Eagles Dare? It's always tough to say goodbye to beloved cast members who are no longer with us. How does that make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying our content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. We appreciate having you in our community.